Welcome to part 1 of the Ripple Blanket Crochet Along. I hope you watched the introductory video. It would show you what kind of yarns you can use, which is pretty much any yarn. I showed you the different types of yarn that I worked up, different hook sizes, what to buy, that kind of stuff. So if you haven't already, go back and watch that video so that you can choose your yarn. What I'm going to do here in this video is get you started on the chain. We're going to go pretty slow, so this is a very beginner video, just for your FYI. If I'm going too fast for you, you can slow the speed of this video. Go up into the settings in YouTube and you can, the playback speed, you can slow it way down. That's really helpful to get really good pictures of where I'm sticking the hook. Also, pause whenever you need to and back up, because that's another real helpful tip for beginners to learn all these wonderful stitches, and it's going to be beautiful. So if you remember correctly, this main color that I used for this blanket was white. This time I'm going to go with ivory. It's ivory. I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's real pretty, nice little creamy color. Kind of matches the fuzzy slipper in there. We also have a hook. I have my 6 hook. This number 4 yarn calls for a 5.5. I crochet tightly, so I like to use this 6. This is my magic hook for me. We're going to need some stitch markers. Have at least 2 for today, like this. If you don't have any, grab some bobby pins. Whatever you have on hand will work. Some scissors. I've also got a tapestry needle in there for later on. We don't need it today, but we will need it at some point. Now you need to decide what size baby blanket you want. If you want one, or blanket period, it doesn't have to be a baby blanket. It can be any size you want. This one here is around 28 inches. I did three pattern repeats for this size. The pattern repeat is 36. So if you chain 36 and you see what size that is, if you're trying to make a super big blanket, chain 36 until your heart desires, but it's got to be multiples of 36. And then if you're just doing a small one like this, 3 might do it. But you can just do 36 until you think it's the size you want and then measure it. Or if you just like the way the size is, go with it. There's no rules as far as size. Whatever you want to do is what you can do. I'm going to do 3 pattern repeats just like I did in this one. So it's going to be around 28 inches. So whatever you decide on, just chain 36 for however many times to equal the width of the blanket that you want. So first thing you want to do, slip stitch. I'm sorry, not a slip stitch. You want to do a slip knot so we can get started. Slip knot on your hook. Now, if you are a beginner or you are a tight crocheter, you may want to use one size bigger hook for your chain, because we are going to have to go into those little chains, and if you do it too tightly, it's going to be hard. So either make a conscious effort to do them somewhat loose, or use one size hook larger for your chain than you will for the rest of your blanket. Just don't forget to switch back when you go to do your second row, or your first row after your chain, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go ahead and chain. For this demonstration, I'm only going to do 36 so that I can show you a few things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I don't think that's quite 36, but that's okay, because I'm only going to show you something real quick before I start. There are 2 ways that you can work on this chain. You can either, once you have your multiples of 36 ready to go, you can chain 3 more, like this. 1, 2, 3. And then do a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't count this one, remember, count 1, 2, 3, 4. Go in there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that would count as your chain would be stitch 1, Your double crochet would be stitch 2. So you need to put a stitch marker right here in this third chain right here, because that counts as your first stitch. 1, 2. I prefer another method. I prefer, take that out, take out chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I prefer the stacked single crochet, and let me show you why. Stacked single crochet gives you the same height as the chain, but it gives you an edge like this. It's a perfectly straight edge with no holes. It's just beautiful edge. There's no border on this blanket. You don't need a border if you do it. You can. I put a border on this one, even though I used the stacked single crochet, but you can see there's no holes. The chain will leave a gap. I started with a chain 3 on this one, so I thought maybe you could see right here. See how there's a hole there? It'll leave that hole there, and it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just like the nice clean edge of the stacked single crochet. So let me show you how to do that. You have your lengths of 36, however many repeats of 36. Do not chain anymore. We're going to use the first chain on the hook, and we're going to go right in that chain on the back bump. See the back bumps here? 1, 2, 3. You're going to use this back bump right here. And go through it. If you chain too tightly, it's going to be a little hard to get through, but once you get your hook in there, you're fine. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through that bump, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook. And then you're going to yarn over, pull through both, just as if you're doing a single crochet. There's a single crochet. Now we're going to stack it. So this will make an equivalent of a double crochet. See right here, you've got 1 loop, 2 loop. You're going to go right between these 2 loops and go right here. This is where you're going to put your hook. Put your hook right between there. Yarn over and pull through just that 1 loop. Then yarn over again and then pull through both. That's a stacked single crochet, and that's going to give you a beautiful edge. And then you want to go ahead and put your stitch marker in there like so. Like that. Okay, so this is going to be your job for today, tonight, whenever you get to it. I want you to go ahead and chain the number of chains you want your blanket width-wise. So if you want to do a blanket this size, which is around 28 inches, doesn't have to be perfect, whatever size you want, then this is 3 repeats and a number 4. If you want to do a, double this size, then do a chain of 6 groups of 36. So whatever size you want, use your tape measure if that works for you. Chain 36 a couple of times, measure it. If it looks right to you or the right size that you want, then stop. If you, once you get to the size you want, we're going to come back and get to the next video. I'm going to be using this stacked single crochet. You can use that, or you can use the chain 3 like I showed you. So work on that chain, and then come back and we'll get to the next video and get hot and heavy into the pattern itself.